Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cafe Enchante, and we're continuing Rindo's route. We're still in, like, what, chapter fucking 3? Well, I think there's only 4 chapters in each run anyway, but yeah. We met Makato out in the dark park. He didn't stab us, shockingly. He gave us something to help Rindo, and I'm still just not 100% sure about him. Like, look, trust issues abound because of every other side character and every other route so far. I'm not still 100% sure how the hex got on Rindo. Was he trying to save Shizuku and it was a side effect that he didn't anticipate, maybe? So, indirectly his fault, but he feels bad about it? I don't know. So, I really was like, nah, he totally did. And he was like, sacrifice Rindo for Shizuku. That's more like Ten's voice than Makato's voice. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it seems like maybe he didn't do it on purpose. Or he did it and then regretted it. I don't know. We'll find out. So anyway, the following day, I explained to everyone the medicine I received from Makato. I also talk in detail regarding Shizuku. Non-human transformer metaplasia? Yes, that's what Makato said. Does anyone know what it is? No, it's the first time I've seen it. Newsflash! From the looks of it, Makato's behind all this! Ignis. Fist bump, bro. Canis, why don't you just nab him and get this over with? Apologies. I judged incorrectly. I was planning to intervene the moment I sensed danger. But you didn't sense anything dangerous, eh? Well, I guess we could have chased after Makato the moment Canis showed up. I think you guys made the right choice. Shizuku Rindo is probably the attacker, so capturing Makato wouldn't make much of a difference in our situation. And if what you said about him vanishing is true, then he probably used some kind of power. Be it Makato or Shizuku, things would have been worse had you been affected by the hex during the chase. How about we focus on what to do next instead of obsessing over what we should or shouldn't have done? Okay? And to summarize, based on what we know, the Shizuku person seems to be the source of the hex. But the fact that we can't find her is proof of her powers as a non-human. We don't know how the hex works, either. We look at each other and frown. It was then I noticed that Karya has come down to the ground floor. Karya? How's Mr. Rindo? He hasn't woken up at all. I see. Mr. Rindo hasn't woken up since the last time I spoke with him. When is he going to wake up? Probably never. For all we knew, he may never wake up again and he'll simply pass away. After hearing that he hasn't woken up, everyone in the room turns their attention toward the metaplasia on the table. But, like, is it going to turn him into, like, a fucking fox person, or is he just going to be like, oh, look, you happen to actually just turn into someone like Il and Canis and everybody. Like, cool. But with a head. Not like Canis. With a head. Like, you know what I mean? So, what's the move? Time is not on our side. If we want to save Rindo, we need to decide before the day is out. Yeah, you didn't really answer my question. Just out of curiosity, but is there any assurance that using this will save Rindo? What to do? With Mr. Rindo unable to respond, we need to make the call amongst ourselves. But turning into a non-human, transforming Mr. Rindo would mean that we're going to disregard his beliefs and wishes. After all, Mr. Rindo kept repeating to me about attaining happiness as a human. What should I do? I wonder what everyone's thinking. This is the million choices. We talk to everybody. Miser? What do you think we should do? Miser's looking down and deep in thought. After a few moments have passed, he reluctantly begins to speak. Humans turning into non-humans is no different from being born again. It means that they're foregoing everything they lived for in their mortal life. It's not just a physical change for a human to turn into a non-human. I should talk with someone else. Talk with Miser. I wonder what happens if you talk with Miser again. Canis? It's probably the exact same thing, because if you chose Canis first and then you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on humans turning into non-humans? Canis mumbles to himself. I am unable to answer your question properly. I have been a non-human from birth, hence I am unaware of the moral dilemma of a human turning into a non-human. I understand the situation, but I'm sorry I cannot offer you the wisdom you seek. Oh, don't worry. You don't have to apologize. But if there is one thing I can say, it is that you will have to accept his fate regardless of which path you choose to take. This is something. It's like, you're gonna have to accept the fate whichever choice you make, A or B, bitch. Nuh-uh, because I have save and I can go back. Il? What's your thoughts, Il? Do you know about all this? Oh, you know about all this, sorry. It's unusual to see him hesitate to speak. I guess he's as troubled about this as I am now. I believe that one of the beautiful aspects of being human is that they can make their own decisions. Free will. Is making this decision for him without his consent something that we can deem morally correct? Even if we save his soul, wouldn't we have technically killed the man? Il's right in that even if we do save his life, that would kill the human that was the Kaoru Rindo that we all know. But not doing anything isn't going to help stop him from dying. I should talk with someone else. Somebody tell me what to do! Anyway. Ignis, what are your thoughts? You have to ask. Just use the damn thing. Ignis quickly and nonchalantly responds to my query. Straight to the point, everyone else is like, well, I mean, like, if you do it, he won't be a human anymore and you're kind of killing him. But if you don't do it, you're definitely killing him. And then, like, yes, I've been thinking these things. I need, like, what would you do? And Ignis is like, just fucking do it. Jesus. Not like you got a lot of options. If you leave him it is, dude's just gonna croak. But, listen, we can worry about this human and non-human nonsense later. Worrying is a luxury in comparison to him dying, got it? So just get it over with. Ignis is making sense. If Mr. Rindo dies, there's nothing we can do, period. Although you also know that, well, like, and then we change him into a non-human, and then he could be just like Shizuku, and then 20 years fucking later, he's still just a fucking rabid fox doll. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen, but my mind is clouded with thoughts. Mr. Rindo suffers seeing Shizuku turned into a seeing Shizuku turned into a non-human. Or actually, no, suffers, because he still suffers seeing her like that all the time. This is like that episode of fucking Star Trek The Next Generation where, like, was it like I don't remember exactly how it happened, but then, like, everybody started devolving into, like, their primordial selves. Like, and Troy turned into, like, some kind of swamp monster lizard thing, because, like, so it was like doing that, like, well, it's going back into, like, oh, well, you descended from this, and these beings descended, or, well, ascended from these technically descended, because beginning of time to now, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, we progressed, like, if you want to be like, well, humans were once apes, then it would be like we all just turned back into monkeys. It's just what I feel like this whole entire path with, like, so, like, somehow Shizuku was a fox, like, descended from fox, but, like, I just feel like this is taking this weird turn like this. Like, so, Rindo, what's in your DNA? What are you gonna turn into? Like, it's like pulling out these ancient genetics from way back when. Oh, God. I mean, it's gonna be messing something, because, like, every human, like, is that he gonna turn into a fox monster? Like, we don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know what kind of, like, creature you're gonna turn into if you take this. Is it different for everyone? Do all humans turn into the same thing because we all descended from the same thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. Anyway, this isn't turning him into a non-human a miserable fate that will stay with him forever? Well, not if he's a rabid fox monster. You won't fucking know. After getting their input, I can't decide. But that isn't surprising in the slightest. After all, there's no telling which decision is either right or wrong. Well, one of them is absolutely right and the other one is absolutely wrong because it's a bad ending, so I'm just saying. The hell are you all worried about? It's better than just seeing him die. Or do you want Rindo dead? No one said such a thing. We're considering what Rindo would want. No one is wrong, which is why we can't come to a solution. The tension in the air is suffocating me slowly. I mean, in reality, yes, you're absolutely at this is there a right answer? Is there a wrong answer? And there's a right and a wrong to each one of these. Like, giving him the potion, the right answer is then he saves him. He doesn't die. He can still live. And there's a possibility that sometime in the future, we can bring him back. But then you have the other, if we don't give him the potion, the negative of that, he's going to die. But the positive is he might not want to be a non-human, and it's his choice if we force him to stay. It's like do we let you live like a vegetable? No. No, just F1. No. For me personally, no. Please goddamn pull the plug. Like, this is about, but like, if you don't know what that person wants, you're like, I have to decide what would they want. And if I say they wouldn't want to live as a vegetable, everyone's going to be, but that's not fair. You're taking our loved one away from us. Yeah, but they're basically just beeping machines. They're not alive. But you still think, but there's hope. Because then somebody comes out of a coma. I've been in a coma for 20 years and now I'm awake and everything. And you're like, hey, and if we pulled the plug, they would have died. Yeah, but do you want to wake up 20 years later? Fuck. No. I'm already old. I don't want to wake up fucking older. Like, great, I woke up. Now it's time to die. Thanks. Good job. No, just fucking pull the plug. But it's that dilemma. You're like, there's positives and negatives to both. And it's like, but which? It's moral quandaries, right? Anyway. Suffocating me slowly, and we're just playing a game here. And there's a definite right answer and a definite wrong answer. But they give you this, like, moral dilemma where you're like, well, but I mean, like, is that the right I mean, the game is telling me that choice A is the right choice and choice B is the wrong one, but, like, is it really? Should it be that easy? Karia, someone who lived their life thinking they were a human, breaks the silence. That's true, we didn't ask him. I'm just a kid, so this is all beyond me. And I kind of know the pain of being a non-human. I want to live as a human, but everyone treats me like the plague and keeps their distance from me. It got so bad that I actually thought I'd prefer to be dead. His words hold weight. His life is exactly what Mr. Rindo's may be if he turns into a non-human. Not if he turns into a rabid fox monster, then he won't know anything. It'll be fine. Then we'll put him down and be like, okay, we tried. But if he turns into someone like Karia and Miser, then it's like, he's still him, but he's not. That's where it's going to be difficult. I'm assuming that the game is going to be like, well, if you give him the shit, they want you to think that he's going to turn into one of them and not Shizuku, but you don't know, right? Like, in the game, our game self is like, he could turn into Shizuku, like, a type 2, where you can't even speak. Not like these guys that are basically like magic-powered human being. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway. This medicine shouldn't be used. The thought crosses everyone's mind. But I'm happy right now. He lets out a gentle smile. Oh, thanks! Okay, there was Ignis, like, just fucking give it to him. And Kariel's like, I wanted to die because my life has sucked so much. See, so Kari, but I'm happy now. You're not helping. You're like, I hate it, but I like it. You're like everyone else. Ignis is the only one with an actual fucking opinion. I have parents who accept me, and the fairies who let me choose my path. And I also have a place I could call a second home right here, despite all the rowdy patrons. And it's all thanks to Mr. Rindo. And aside from my parents who are taking care of me now, Mr. Rindo was the only other one who encouraged life. The only other who encouraged life, well, anyway. Karia's eyes swell with tears as he tries to maintain a strong appearance. I want him to live. I haven't been able to thank him yet. I want to show him thanks for saving me. I want to thank him for telling me to live. Okay, so Karia actually has a strong opinion. Give him the damn medicine. Okay, cool. That's 2 to nothing. Karia, I see a person in front of me who cares deeply for Mr. Rindo. But that applies to me and everyone here. My heart quietly finds solace in hearing Karia's plea. I cough a bit to clear my throat. I then pat Karia on his head with a smile. The time to decide is creeping up on me. It's okay. I'm sure he'll be fine. We're coming up on the decision moment. The room is quiet. The silence amplifies the clock's ticking. I sit on the side of the bed and look at Mr. Rindo's sleeping face. One choice leads to life, One choice leads to death. I mean, because the next choice we have to save for a bad ending, so I'm assuming it leads to death. Mr. Rindo's body is failing by the minute. He's panting in pain as if his life was counting down toward its demise. It is. I look at the vial of metaplasia in my hands. He said before that he thought it would have been best to kill his younger sister than see her as a non-human. All this time he kept preaching to me about attaining happiness as a human. I want him to live. I don't want him to die. Which leaves me with one choice. I understand what I need to do, but seeing Mr. Rindo brings me such doubt. Is it really right to administer the dose of metaplasia? I reach my hand out to Mr. Rindo. I'm not sure if I'm doing this to see if he's breathing or if he'll respond back to me, and then she's like, oh, he's already dead, we don't have to worry about it. All I know is that I want to hold his hand. I grab Mr. Rindo's hand tightly. It's time. It's time to save. Okay. There we go. I'm just kidding. We use the words like... Whoops. Death? Not death. I mean... I held the vial of metaplasia firmly in my hand. And this is also what leads me to... Because I was like, oh, I saw that. But also, he's probably not going to turn into like a fox creature because we wouldn't administer it. And then he's like, okay, he's a fox doll. And that's our happy ending. Okay, if that happens, I'm going to pause right here. Okay. If he turns into someone like Ill, Canis, Miser, okay, fine, great. Awesome. Whatevs, right? He's might not be happy, but we'll be okay. And it's probably going to still be a bittersweet ending because he's going to be like, you should have let me fucking die. And we're going to be like, shut the fuck up. But if he turns in, but we can still have a happy ending. You know what I mean? It might be a little like... there's still a possibility. If he turns into something like Shizuku and it's like, okay, or he turns into another Kororo, we're like, great. He's a Unifox maybe instead of a Uniseal. Awesome. Then our boyfriend is our pet and that's going to be like, fuck you game. This is our happy ending that he's not dead and maybe someday he'll be human again. I'm not. If that happens... that version of me will be like, not looking forward to playing the rest of this game because it's just going to get worse. Straight into hell. Anyway. I held the vial of metaplasia firmly in my hands. Alright, here we go. Humans and non-humans in coexistence. It sounds like a good idea, but I've seen my fair share of how they end. Well, we're doing this for selfish reasons. I understand. But it's not just that. Like I said before, I've seen my fair share of humans and non-humans. I've seen them come together as friends, lovers, and families. But most of them had bad endings. Like some stories, humans and non-human relationships have their share of tragedies. I feel like right now I don't like this choice. Because I feel like, okay, well the other choice was definitely death. We don't give it to him and he dies. And this is, we're gonna give it to you and then a bad ending. Still, it's like, this is the happy ending. Happy for who? People who like pain and suffering? Because I don't. I play these games to not feel like shit, okay? That's why I can be like, when everyone's like, those bad endings just traumatize me. And it's like, look, I ignore the bad endings. I'm like, I hate that. I'm going to pretend it didn't happen. Several of them haunt me, though, okay? Several of them haunt me. But I do not like it when games pull a 7 Scarlet on me and they're like, this is the true ending. Fuck you, why? It's not even, I came here to be happy. Why'd you rip my heart out? It's like watching Yuri on Ice. You know, there's a reason why I can't do it. Because it makes me feel so happy when I'm watching it. I'm like, and you don't even realize, and then the show ends and you're like, I feel like I just got dumped. It's over. And I miss it. I don't know. Every other, like, anime you can watch, you're like, I love this show, and then you watch it again, and, like, Yuri on Ice ends, and I just feel heartbroken. Because it's over. And I can just start it over. But then it's like, I have to, like, grieve for a while before I can start it over. And then I watch it again and I'm like, why did I do this to me? I love it so much, but it hurts so much when it ends. It's so beautiful. It's the most beautiful fucking love story. And then when it's over, you just, even though it's a happy end, you're still like, but it's over. I don't look. Okay. I don't know. It's just how I felt. Okay. I just don't feel game. Anyway, I understand. I don't understand why they have to make it. Look, you can have drama and stuff and still have a fun, happy ending. Like, everything turned out well. Thank you. Not like everything turned out awful. I want the destination to be a good one. Come on. Humans and non-humans aren't meant to be together. Well, we're gonna prove that wrong, you son of a bitch. I understand already. I shake my head to rid of these thoughts. I slowly move closer to Mr. Rindo. Is she gonna back out at the last minute? Oh, she's leaning over him. Oh, interesting. My heart is overcome with sorrow as I feel his cold body. I whisper to Mr. Rindo. Mr. Rindo, if he drinks this, the relationship we slowly built will probably crumble into nothing. That's heartbreaking. The happiness he saw as a human and the relationship he saw between us. Even so, I want to hear his voice again. Don't we all? I want him to live. Not the voice I give him, but the real one. Mr. Rindo, here. He doesn't respond. I tip the vial of medicine into his mouth. Mr. Rindo coughs and spills the medicine out of his mouth in pain. He probably doesn't have the strength to swallow. Or maybe he wants to die. It felt as though he was attempting to convey that to me. Too late! Some of it's dripping down your throat. Seeing his light fade away will make me regret, suffer, and cry in sorrow. So, even if you want to die, I won't let you. May my prayers be heard. I put the metaplasia in my mouth and gently administer the dose. Girl! I was actually kind of wondering when she was leaning over him, I'm like, are you gonna, like, kiss feed it to him? Because that's awkward and weird when they do that in games. You're like, okay, that's a little too much spit in my tea that you're now feeding to me that way. I don't understand why that's a thing in games. It's not as disgusting as other things. You're like, I don't know, why is that a thing? Stop it! It's awkward, and you're like, that's kind of gross, personally. But I was kind of wondering if she was going to do it, but then I was like, you probably shouldn't have any of that in your mouth, because now you're going to ingest some of it, so. Curious. But she did it. Also, he's unconscious. This is kind of sexual assault, but, you know, please. Please. Please live. I pray for it, even if he doesn't want it. I'm prepared to pay anything just to see him live. I will carry full responsibility for turning you into a non-human. Even if you aren't human anymore, I'll never turn my back on you. So please, don't suffer. If you need to resent something, resent me. Just please. Please live. Again, we ingested some of this, so are they going to skip over that and be like, well, she's fine, because she didn't swallow it? It still got in your... I'm just saying. All right, well. Oh. Are we Rindo in Rindo's route now? Interesting. Oh. We are. Blinking awake. Where am I? My body feels achy as if I just recovered from a fever. My head is spinning. I look around in a daze. This place looks like that empty room on the second floor of Enchante. I was like, it was going to be funny. I was like, does he have amnesia now? That'd be great. We don't have an amnesia character. That's right. Well, we don't know. We don't know yet. It could be Miser or Hill, I'm just saying. We don't have amnesia, which is a shock. After I went into the GPM headquarters, I was attacked by a non-human. After that, everyone saved me, and I looked next to me and noticed Spacey sleeping with her head on the side of the bed. She took care of me the whole time? I let out a smile, seeing her quietly breathing in her sleep. Oh God. I slowly reached my hand out to pat her on the head when... A sharp pain runs through me. I was literally wondering if he was going to be like, why is my hand a paw? You're now a furry. What? My body... Wait. Oh God. What did we do to him? 5 minutes later, I force myself down the stairs as I fight the pain and anxiety coursing through me. Morning should come soon, so no one should be here. Wait. What is that demon lord doing at the counter? Miser. I'm finally awake, Rindo? You're looking pretty good these days. Is he serious? Miser's eyes say otherwise. He's like, you're looking pretty good. I know you must be in some pain, but let me brew you some coffee. Take a seat. I'll tell you everything we know and what happened while you were sleeping. On second thought, I'm not sure you can drink coffee in that form of yours. Oh my God. What did we do to him? Miser goes into detail over what happened while I was sleeping. Something about being hexed so badly that it nearly killed me. Then Makato gave our dear girl a vial of something called metaplasia. She struggled trying to determine if she should turn me into a non-human. And at the very end, Spacey administered the medicine to me. So we're assuming. I mean, obviously. They're like, well, I guess we assume that she gave you the medicine because you're not dead and you're basically a fursuit now. Okay. This all seems so far-fetched that I can't seem to believe what he's saying. Odd, considering it's supposed to be something that happened to me. By the way, the patrons here have been scoping out the GPM headquarters, but the fact that it doesn't look any different is very unusual. The only thing they discovered was that a whole bunch of GPM employees haven't come to work recently. Of course, it's possible that they're all out sick or on vacation. And there are a lot of employees working there, but at least 10 or so haven't shown up to work. Someone did something to them. From what we know, it's probably... No need to say more. No matter how many years have gone by, I can never forget Shizuku's voice. The voice I heard when I was attacked. A voice I can't get out of my mind. It seems like Makato knew about my situation. It doesn't take a genius to figure out who's behind all of this. And this is my responsibility for not doing what I should have done 7 years ago. I'll end this myself. Like that? He only jabbed me. But that was more than enough to make my body falter. I crumpled down to my knees. My strength is fleeting. I can't move. What did we turn him into? It's almost like I'm in someone else's body. I must have fallen to my knees pretty loudly. I hear footsteps running down the stairs. I can't wait to see what he looks like. Or it's just, you look the same, you're just really weak. I didn't know I fell asleep. I wake up from a loud thud and look around to find Mr. Rindo missing. Which means he must have left the room. My God. I hurriedly run down the stairs. Mr. Rindo? I'm calling out his name as I run down the stairs, expecting him to be in the cafe. I gasp for air. My eyes focus in on a figure standing in front of me. Oh. Oh my. Wow. He's like half Rindo, half gremlin. Interesting. It's kind of cool in a freaky, weird sort of way. But, like, because the hex stuff was like, it was like black spots all over him, and it feels like that's what it turned into. Like, the hex turned, like, interesting. Wow, okay. It's Mr. Rindo, but not the Mr. Rindo I know. No, it is Mr. Rindo. But the left side of his body and his right hand... Oh, interesting, so both of his hands are like that. I'm not sure what that slithering thing is. It's like a black film stuck to him. That thing covering him. It's squirming around as if it has a mind of its own, almost sentient. Okay, that's a little creepy and weird. That's a little awkward. Okay, it's fine when it was just like, okay, and then it's like it's slithering and moving. Okay, that's a little creepy. Okay. Alright, alright. His face is partially transformed into something almost demon-like. His hair is also changed, like his face, to a brilliant white. You're like, this is what we did to you. His quivering eyes lock onto mine. Mr. Rindo? Oh god, yeah, both of his hands are like, oh god, that's scary. Could hurt you. I call out his name, unsure if he'll respond. He simply turns his eyes away. Kaoru Rindo 3. Due to a hex, he roamed the boundary between life and death. The use of a drug known as the non-human facilitation drug metaplasia has extended his life at the exchange of turning into a non-human. I mean, but at least he's not... At least he can talk. He's half himself, I guess? Miser moves in front of Mr. Rindo. Rindo's having a hard time controlling himself. I think it's best he rest a bit longer, so do you mind preparing his bed? I'll take him upstairs after. Okay? I simply nod in response to Miser's command. I can't get a grasp on my emotions or thoughts together yet. I head back upstairs to get the bed ready. Ooh, who are we now? That same day, amid Shinjuku's towering buildings, stands the GPM headquarters. It's late into the night, and some of the workers are planning to call it a day. The hallways are now empty. A certain old man is running for his life, fear-struck and terrified. Run, run, run. He's running as fast as he can, but his lack of physical prowess causes him to trip over his own foot. Then suddenly, the shadow that was hunting him swallows the lower half of his body. The man screams, knowing that his strength is vanishing. Why is this happening to me? I'm not sure who's talking, so I'm just gonna I don't know if it's supposed to be Shizuku, because it's the monster. We'll just assume, so. Why? Are you stupid? You know damn well why this is happening. Isn't that right, Deputy Commissioner? I don't know who Oh, it was Makato. Alright. We'll back up. Beep, beep, beep. Pretend we didn't read that. That's the only thing about not having voice acting on, is that when you at least hear the line, you know who it is, and you don't have to, like, worry about it, but anyway.
Why? Are you stupid? You know damn well why this is happening. Isn't that right, Deputy Commissioner?
The Deputy Commissioner's eyes widen as he sees Makato appear from the shadows. He's supposed to be his loyal subordinate, but for some reason, Makato is attacking him. Kira Makato! Why you? You ingrate! I recommended you to the 2nd R&D department!
I appreciate that, truly. It led me to the truth, after all. Come here, Shizuku.
Makato beckons it to come closer. Oh my lord, she's scary. The man screams in fear seeing the beast, but she's like a red goo monster, and Rendo's like half a black goo monster, so I mean, they're kind of goo monsters. Ah! Ah! That's kind of how I would feel.
Oh, I don't see why you're so scared. You know her very well. She's my dear Shizuku Rindo.
Rindo, wow.
She was known as a genius here at the GPM headquarters.
Makato endearingly calls the writhing creature Shizuku Makato. Shizuku Rindo. Wow. Wow, game. But his voice isn't heard as it's muffled by the man's screams. His fear-laden eyes stare blankly at the one called Shizuku. You monster! Don't come! Ah! He screams at the top of his lungs. But his screams don't travel far. A thick, mucus-like shadow seeps out from Shizuku's body. In a matter of seconds, the shadow swallows the man whole.
Monster, eh? If he means that as an insult, then he was a monster too.
He mumbles something. Shizuku's body begins to tremble, and a frail and vaguely comprehensible voice is heard.
Kira. Yes, it's me. I'm right here. Thank goodness. I guess even a lowlife like him helped bring you one step closer to being a human again.
Makato gently cradles the creature's head-like body part.
I wonder how many more are needed to make you human. Say, Shizuku, how about we drink some sweet cafe au lait together when you're human again?
I thought for a second he's saying that and he's going to come here and try to touch my boys. Bitch. Makato, I understand, but you don't touch my fucking boys.
You and I, and Rindo, and Spacey, the four of us, we can all smile and have fun together.
At least he's not trying to kill Rindo or me. So... okay.
Well, I doubt that'd ever happen.
Brother Kaoru.
I can only hope she's made the same choice that we made.
Shizuku's body shakes with Makato's words. Is it because she's happy? Or is it because she's sad? Not even Makato could determine what she was feeling with certainty. She's probably sad because she probably knows what's going on with her if she's sentient enough to be able to sort of speak. It's been a day since Mr. Rindo came to. I go up to the room he's using with some tea and knock on the door. Mr. Rindo, can I come in? Sure. Excuse me. I freeze on the spot. He's standing there, same as yesterday. His upper torso is bare, and the non-human parts are clearly visible. I mean, we get shirtless Rindo. He's like half a monster. He's probably like, I can't figure out how to put clothes on with the claws. It's weird. I mean... It looks like he was wiping his body. I'm sorry. I'll come back later. He's like, I'm trying to get the sludge off me, but I feel like if I peel it off enough, it's not gonna... Don't worry. And I know it's not going to be easy to get used to what you're seeing, but what you're seeing now is me in the flesh, so there's no need to be surprised. But he's looking at us with such a happy, like a smiling look on his face, but it's kind of sad because he's like, this is me now, and you're like, I kinda did that to you, I feel bad. Mr. Rindo's voice is calm. He's been resting in intervals since yesterday. And now he's recovered to the point that we can have a casual conversation. His pale complexion seems to have gotten better compared to what it used to look like. The creepy part is almost seeing the teeth, like on the right side. It's like, is that supposed to be like I can see through your cheek to your teeth? Because that's a little that's the disturbing part. The like half gremlin is interesting. Although the sentientness of the, that's kind of creepy. That would be like, it's like slime, it's moving. Ugh, gross. I'm not going to handle this well. But seeing him like this reminds me of the harsh reality. Mr. Rindo is transformed from a human to a non-human. And I'm the one responsible. Stop it! No! We don't scream like that. According to Miser, it seems like Mr. Rindo's body hasn't adjusted to his non-human body yet. Which is why he's been lying down in bed most of the time. It should be obvious, but transforming into another body is probably mentally and physically taxing. Is he going to turn fully into that? I mean, his sister turned into a goo monster, so... Huh. And what's with the stare? I hear from Miser that I'm looking pretty handsome now. Well, I know Mr. Rindo is trying to lighten the mood, but I can't get myself to smile right. I'm the one who should be trying to cheer him up. Look, we were in love with a headless man. I think we can handle a half goo monster. It's just the texture. Like, is it sticky? Is it slimy? Before she said anything about, I mean, I guess I should have known, seeing it flying off his arm like that it was sentient and moving. That's the creepy part. You're like, I was fine until you said that. It would actually make me feel better if he just cursed me for what I've done. She's like, because then I wouldn't have to admit that I'm in love with you and you scare me a little. Like, stop with that look you're making. You saved my life. And the call you made saved my life, and now I can talk with you like this again. I really appreciate it. You've done nothing wrong, so feel free to smile, okay? Your smile is like medicine to me, you know. And you're like, yeah, and I wanted you to live because I was in love with you, but now you scare me so... That would be a slap in this poor man's face. You committed to this! Mr. Rindo goes on to gently pat me on the head. The texture of his newly formed hand is making me feel guilty. Or grossed out. Grossed out. It's guilty because you feel a little grossed out. Because that's it. The texture and the moving, that would be what that gets to me. Because, like, I have a texture issue. Like, but Mr. Rindo's gentle caress feels almost as if he's slowly wiping away his sorrow. Okay. Still, I doubt I'm able to smile as brightly now. At the very least, I'll do what I can and try to put a smile on my face. It'd be one thing if it was like squishy, like a nice soft pillow that you squish into, but it's like probably going to be sticky or slimy, and that's... I don't know, like, could you just imagine I'm going to go hug my boyfriend and you go to touch him and he's sticky and slimy? I'm going to gag. Time seems to be flying by. It's already been 3 days. They left him pretty handsome, even though he, again, half gremlin, but still not terrible. Could be worse, you know? Thanks for the wait. Here's the juice for you, Il. And Ignis, here's your steak. They look at each other as I place their orders on the table. You look a lot better now. Really? I wasn't really aware. Yeah, well, you look like a ghost only a couple days ago. Well, I guess they're right. Even though Mr. Rindo was saved, the fact I changed him into a non-human is still hanging over my head. I guess all that reassurance from Mr. Rindo helped me get back into shape again.
Rindo's able to move around like he used to, and so I guess all's well that ends well.
Not that I'm worried, but if you need something, just ask, got it?
Isn't that a textbook definition of being worried?
Shut it! I'm not worried at all! Thanks. They're kind as usual. Actually, everyone who comes here is kind at heart. They saved me whenever I needed to be. Oh, come to think of it, now that I finally have the capacity to look beyond myself, a certain thought comes back to mind. Are employees still going missing at the GPM? I recall what Miser said. Back when Mr. Rindo was near death, Miser mentioned something about GPM employees not showing up to work. This was not the background where he said that, but I'm pretty sure Makato and Shizuku are involved in this one way or another. Miser and Il are still checking on the GPM, but I look at Il and notice he's shaking his head.
It doesn't seem like anyone else has gone missing recently.
Really?
Oh, why, yes. I haven't noticed anything unusual for them. Though we do have to remember, they are the GPM. Who knows what they'll do to ensure their secrets are kept safe.
We could just barge in, but then again, if we don't come up with anything, it'll make us look pretty bad. I recall what Mr. Rindo said before as I see the two talking with each other. Shizuku Rindo attacked him. She's Mr. Rindo's younger sister turned non-human and Makato's love. After she transformed into a non-human 7 years ago, she's now with Makato as his doll, Ku. So far, it doesn't seem like Ku has moved at all recently. But how did she move in the first place? I thought whatever Makato was giving her kept her immobilized. We can't just ignore either Mr. Rindo's state or Makato, but I wonder if things will just settle as is. No. Got a whole other chapter. No, that's not possible. Something's bound to happen. I just know something will happen, but it's not like I can do anything now. I glance over at the clock as the anxiety builds within me. Oh, I better get lunch ready for Mr. Rindo. I decide to switch gears from thinking and head into the kitchen. I mean, there isn't much I can do as a human when the issue is related to non-humans. Getting lunch ready in the middle of the night.
If so, I can focus on getting Mr. Rindo back in shape with my cooking and coffee brewing. I grabbed the soup I just made and head up the stairs. He's trying to, like, hold a spoon with claws. Oh! I hope Mr. Rindo likes it. I carefully climb the stairs to his room so that I don't spill the soup. I wonder what I should talk about while he's eating. I find myself in front of his room before I could sort out my thoughts.
How are you feeling? Spacey is worried about you.
I hear a voice from beyond the door.
Well, I guess I'm feeling better now. She has been keeping watch over me this whole time.
It sounds like Canis is talking with Mr. Rindo. Great, now they have the same voice, but their conversation continues as I ponder when I should step in. I decide to eavesdrop on their conversation, assuming that they would wrap it up shortly. I gotta go back downstairs because the soup's cold.
How are you feeling? Spacey is worried about you. Well, I guess I'm feeling better now. She has been keeping watch over me this whole time.
I see. That is good to hear.
Mind you, I haven't rested like this since forever. I pretty much live to work, you know? I already let the GPM know, so I'm just gonna cruise for a while.
Rindo.
And then again, I guess I do have something I need to do.
Shizuku?
Yeah. It looks like Makato is radio silent now, but I bet something similar is going to happen again. Regardless of what their motives are, I need to stop them. Guess it's best I put this new body to good use. It still feels strange. It doesn't feel like my body is recovering. It's more like I replaced my body entirely. I suppose I'll get used to it sooner than later. I may not be as strong as you guys, but I'm probably a lot stronger than I used to be. Yeah, being a non-human ain't that bad.
Canis is like, but you look a little scary. He's like, says the guy with no head!
Rindo, are you serious? Your time spent as a human is merely history now. The human in you is dead. You have been watching over humans and non-humans. It should not be so easy to accept your current state. You do not have to put on a front. You do not have to put on a front, as the kids say. Come on, stop it. I do not say this in jest. You can speak from the heart now that Spacey is not here. I understand the importance of portraying confidence. But hiding your true feelings deep inside for too long, it can do more harm than good. It is okay. What are your true feelings?
I was like, okay, he's doing okay. Like, I was like, no. First I thought that's exactly what was going to happen. He was going to say some shit and make us feel like awful about this. And then he's like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, oh, he's taking this really better. And Candace's like, come on. And he's like, no, this sucks.
You know, you're right, Canis. It's not easy to accept what happens so easily. But I'm not really sure what else I can say. I guess I'm just confused. It's ironic this happened to me considering what I've been saying to Karia and Spacey. After the incident Shizuku experienced, I kept reminding them of how tragedy comes to human and non-human relationships. I figured maybe I could find happiness as a human with her, but now... Look at me. You know, I imagined what our future would look like before this happened.
Oh, we're like hearing him kind of confess that he loves us behind a closed door while we're eavesdropping.
I thought about traveling with her, having a date somewhere out there instead of at home.
Oh, we're making him so sad he can't do those things.
I thought about going to Amasaki Island to see Ten and possibly swinging by her parents' house to say hi.
It's so cute that he imagined all this. It's adorable.
I thought about what I would say to introduce myself to her parents and try to find an excuse for how we got together. I went shopping one day and stopped by a jewelry store and found a matching pair of rings.
My God! Okay, whoa, all right, you're moving a little fast, buddy, but this is a Tomei game, so...
Well, once I checked my wallet, I realized I wouldn't be able to buy them yet. I kept thinking about how it would look on Spacey, and then about going out with her again.
He's old, he has to move fast. Oh my God.
I tried to refrain myself from imagining all these things, since our relationship had only just begun.
And you didn't know that we were actually in love with you, technically.
I seriously pictured and thought about all these things coming true one day.
Aww.
Look at me now. I can't wear a matching ring with a body like this. And what's worse, I can't even walk outside with her like this anymore.
That's the part that's sad. Like, we can still love you. You think that we won't love you anyway. But it's the, I can't go outside like this. True.
I really don't know why this happened. And cry if you would like. Embrace your emotions. There is nothing to worry about. You are in the company of a fellow non-human. He's like, and one without a fucking head, by the way. I appreciate the offer. But when you're my age, you don't really cry anymore.
Lies!
Well, I guess if you don't mind me venting a bit.
Oh, this is such a sad CG. It's like beautiful and sad.
I didn't ask to become a non-human. Makato was happy that he could be with Shizuku regardless of her non-human form. But I knew that he was suffering behind that smile of his the whole time. He kept working, trying to find a way to bring Shizuku back, to no avail. I know how much she's going to suffer if I stay with her like this.
Oh. Oh, now there's us crying. Oh.
Hearing Mr. Rindo's candid and honest sentiments brought tears to my eyes. What have I done? I knew how he felt. His younger sister turned into a non-human. I saw Makato and how he was suffering. I swooned from his kindness. He eased my soul with kind words. How much dumber can I be? I can't stop my tears. I want to stop crying. I don't have the right to be crying. Mr. Rindo said he won't cry. I try with all my might to not make a sound, but I can't hold back my tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mr. Rindo. I know my apologetic words mean nothing. I can't turn back the clock. He isn't human anymore.
Just so sad. Like, if it's gonna be this melodramatic, bittersweet kind of not happy end, like, I hate it when games do this to me. Like, there's so many, I should just be used to it by now that, like, at least half of the Otome games we play are, like, fucking tragic. You're like, I mean, it was a happy end, but was it really happy? Like, they're bittersweet, and you're like, it's not, I'm supposed to feel happy about it, but I don't. Like, what? You know? But, like, I don't know. And I knew, hey, bad, no. I knew from, like, not knowing what happens, but reviews that, like, there's some bittersweet shit, and there's, like, it's not happy and fluffy. Like, I knew that, so I knew, but, like, even then, like, Candace's route was, like, yeah, there was some drama in it, but it was still a happy, pretty ending. Ignis's route was kind of sad and melodramatic, but I feel like the ending was still, like, fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember the ending being, like, that was a little bittersweet. It was, like, no, like, trauma happened in his route, but, like, we got to it, and now we had a happy, you know, the ending wasn't, like, what? Why would you do that? You know? Because, like, the journey to the ending, if there's, like, traumatic like this and bittersweet, where you're like, this hurts. But the ending is happy! You're like, yay, okay, like, all that trauma was worth it. But, like, when you go through games, you're like, all that trauma with this is what I got? Really? There's no payoff. Just more, like, sadness? Like, I don't like... Anyway. A beautiful afternoon! Oh, we're Rindo. Kari and the patrons of Enchante are all gathered together at the cafe. Hey! I'm gonna need you to stop screaming. You're kind of annoying me now. Stop it. You've been shrieking too goddamn much in the last hour. Hey there. It's been a while since we've met like this. I've been using the room here as a recovery room of sorts. I come down to the ground floor. Stop it! They're all staring at me in shock. Mr. Rindo, are you okay? I guess. I can't say I feel perfect, but I can move around all right. Heh. Considering you nearly kicked the bucket, I'd say you're doing pretty damn well. You're right. And it's all because of our cute owner's loving care. Best you don't push yourself.
Yes, you do not look all that well. May I suggest you go back to sleep? And that's a bit too much sleep for me to handle. I have to consider Shizuku too, you know.
But neither of our possible suspects have made a move recently.
Just a thought. But there's a chance they're no longer at the GPM. Either they've already got what they wanted, or they know you're alive after contacting Spacey. So they could have just ran. I see. The fact that their whereabouts are unknown isn't very reassuring. I love how he comes down and everyone's like, are you sure you're okay? Is he getting worse? Like, why are they freaking out? Miser must have noticed the look on my face. He tries to ease me with a smile. Well, we'll continue searching for them. If they're up to no good, we'll need to get a jump on them before they take action. Not to mention we have our dear friend Mr. Rindo. He'll go after them if we stop searching. With his sister involved, there's no way to stop him, so we might as well help him out. Miser. Stop it, will ya? We're not doing it for you. It's for our cute owner. Our cute owner. Oh. Miser, my pet. Put him on a leash. Keep him locked up safe so no one can touch him or hurt him. What, I love him, I'm sorry. You got that right. Well, thanks. Miser's doing his best to cheer me up. He's trying to let me know that I can rely on the patrons here without being so upfront about it. We'll have Karya help today by having him go for his medical checkup and doing our search then. I'll be tagging along, but don't expect any miracles, pal. Now that you mention it, you mind if I come along with you guys? Don't. Shut it.
Stay put.
That was relentless. But what are you going to say to your colleagues if they were to see you? And then if they saw you, they'd nab you and turn you into a test subject for their latest experiment. Experiment? They wouldn't do that to me. You've been one of them long enough to not even notice. Those guys are pretty damn shady. If they tried to do something to us, we just beat them senseless and move on. You can't do that. Ignis came from Bestia. The GPM sent men there many times before, which is why Ignis probably knows well enough not to trust the GPM as a whole. So your job today is to lay low and stay put here with our dear owner.
Miser and I will continue with our search and investigations.
Please take care of Spacey.
You just sit tight, got it? I got some steak left in the fridge, so you just munch on that while you wait.
We'll contact you as soon as we get any new information. They all nod and look at me. I let out a chuckle, feeling bad and a bit embarrassed that they're all trying to take care of me. I hate that I've become a burden to them. But they're right, and there really isn't much I can do right now. I can move around and the pain has somewhat subsided, but I'm still not used to this body. I'm still trying to control my strength, and I'm so off balance that I've been having trouble climbing the stairs. The biggest problem is my appearance. I have to agree with them that it's best I don't expose myself to the public. Roger. Oh, that's me. Never mind. Roger that. I'll just stay put here. So, where is our dear owner? Spacey's in the kitchen. Why? Oh, I haven't seen her at all since yesterday, so I was just a little worried.
I thought you said she was taking good care of you. Sounds like she's had enough of that.
Did you say something to her recently?
What? Not that I know of. What perfect timing. She suddenly peeks out from the kitchen. Spacey's staring at me. She looks oddly tense. I'm not sure if I should say something. Suddenly, she comes storming out of the kitchen and comes right up to my face.
Mr. Rindo, let's go out on a date.
Oh boy.
So cute. Let's go on a date.
What?
What the fuck just happened? He's like, what? Am I in trouble? What? But that's supposed to be a good thing. Anyway, we're going to go out. How are we going to go out with him looking like this? We're going to put a bag on his head? Can we put a spell on him so he looks normal to everyone? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this part up here. We're about at time, and I don't want to go too far over, so we'll continue and see the date in the next part. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.